Good day and greetings from Pretoria, South Africa. My name is Dr. Charles Cotter. I'm the Learning Navigator, the Change Management and Leadership in a Crisis online learning program, part of the e-learning series. This is an on-demand learning program and comprises of 6 modules. Each of the registered learners will receive a SlideShare presentation per module, and then also a detailed workbook which comprises the content, but also a series of learning activities, which I'll expect you to complete at the end of each of these modules. I think this is probably the best way of continuing the engagement and also to stimulate discussion between the Learning Navigator and the registered learners. As a form of introduction, I'd like to give you a quick overview of my professional pedigree. Essentially, I've been in the field of education, training, and development for the last 19 years. Of those 19, 15 as an independent contractor. I've been very privileged to have worked for over 140 different companies, both in the public and private sector. And of course, this stretches across 18 different countries and 4 different continents. My area of subject matter expertise is strategic management, change management, and also strategic human resources management. I'd like to conclude Module 2 by looking at a case study. And again, if you refer to Workbook 2, you will have the synopsis of the case study, and you'll see this is a case in the mining industry. In fact, the case study is titled Powering a Mining Company's Growth Through Cultural Change. This is learning activity 5. So what I would like you to do is to read through the case study. It's a very short case study. It's a caselet, in fact. And then there are 6 questions that I'd like you to work through, which defines the case study as a whole. So you'll remember from Module 1, we looked at the different areas of change. We use a SPOTS acronym, and one of them, of course, was the O, which stands for organizational culture. So this is the people, this is the value system in the organization, and we also quoted Peter Drucker, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So if you think a change management strategy is important, you'd be right, but it's not as important as the organizational culture. So we did pinpoint this as the #1 critical success factor. The culture is very important. Culture, in fact, is paramount, and it supersedes and it trumps any kind of change management strategy. So what are these 6 questions that I'd like you to address? First one, based on Module 1, which we looked at, the drivers and the need for change at Mining Co. So this is a fictitious name for the mining company, and I would like you then to refer to both the internal but also the external drivers and factors which compel the organization to change. So you'll recall internally you need to look at the microenvironment. When you look externally, I'd like you to look at the market environment, in other words, the mining industry as a whole, but also look at the macro environment, and you're welcome there to do a pestle analysis. Is there any evidence in the case study of political, economical, sociocultural, technological, ecological, and also legal forces and factors which were driving the need for change? The second question is the use of the external change agent or consultant that partnered with Bain, which is a consultancy firm. And what I'd like you to do is extract the evidence from the case study, which gives the roadmap or the blueprint for the change management process. Again, the company used a combination of internal but also external change consultants to help them on this change journey. I'd like you to pinpoint the change objectives. So what was the outcome of the change process, the objectives that the company were pursuing? Also, was there any potential resistance to change? You'll see with Module 3 and Module 4, we're going to start looking at the reasons for resisting change. So at this point, is there any evidence in the case study? What were the resistors of change, etc.? What were some of the change management tools that the external change consultant proposed to Mining Co? I'd like you to list those change management tools. And then also the 6th question is to provide evidence of the impact and the value of the change process. So I'd like you to give an an indication of whether you believe that the change management process was indeed successful, was it effective, related back to question 3, which looks at the objectives, give an indication of whether you believe that the objectives were achieved and that the organization indeed was a better culture, because I think that is the focus of the case study, the organizational culture. Again, like I said, refer to workbook 2, and I think all of the 6 questions you could capture in potentially a 4 to 5 page essay. Send it to me by means of email, and then this will be the basis of ongoing and further discussion and engagement. So from my side, a quick summary. We've come to the end of module 2. So we had 2 primary outcomes. We initially looked at the change transition cycle, the different stages that companies and employees move through during times of change. We looked at the change leadership strategies that companies need to employ to navigate people through from stage 1 through to stage 4. I think that's based on the Kubler-Ross model. And then also we looked at the different roles and responsibilities. We contrasted change management with change leadership. We looked at catalyst leaders. We looked at transformational leaders. We looked at the 4 key roles of transformational leaders, contrasting them with change leadership. Transformational leaders, I think, are very important. We looked at the benefits of transformational leadership. And then, of course, we looked at the hierarchy of commitment. I think we need to try to get a critical mass of employees at the pinnacle of that. And then we concluded by looking at the case study. I want you to read through that and, of course, respond to those 6 questions. So I look forward to hosting you with the subsequent modules, modules 3 to 6. Also like at this point to wish you good luck on your change management journey. Your processes, your systems, the tools that you use. And of course, if you have any questions, please send me an email. I'm also very active on social media, so if you want to connect, you'll find me on LinkedIn, you'll find me on Twitter, Facebook. You're welcome to communicate with me on those social media platforms. So I really do look forward to sharing this change management journey with you. We'll continue with module 3, which will then start looking at resistance to change and the different managerial techniques that we can employ to reduce resistance to change in particular. I've also shared my contact details with you. So if you need to communicate with me, I've given you the details and also my social media presence. Also, you're welcome to view and to download my portfolio of SlideShare presentations on SlideShare. You're welcome. In fact, you'll find this presentation, a generic presentation, on that platform. But there is a whole host of different presentations in my other areas of expertise, strategic management and also strategic human resources management. So at this point, I'd like to say thank you for paying attention and thank you for being prepared to listen to my presentation. Again, best of luck with the different challenges that you'll be confronted with. So as your learning navigator, Dr. Charles Cotter, I'd like to sign out and look forward to you joining me as we complete this online learning program by completing modules 3 to 6. Thank you. Bye-bye.
This is Charles Cotter signing out. I'd like to thank you for watching the video clip, Change Management and Leadership in a Crisis online learning program. Please be on the lookout for subsequent uploads on my YouTube learning channel of the other modules. Also, please have a look at the chat box section. You'll see in the comment section. If you'd like to access a copy of the workbook in PDF format, I'll gladly email that to you for this specific module, but also the other modules of the various video clips. I'd also like to remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please press the notification bell to be alerted of the subsequent uploads of the other modules, and also like to encourage you to reach out and contact me. My contact details and social media presence will be provided on the screen very shortly, so I'd encourage you to reach out, and of course I would welcome any sort of communication or feedback regarding this video clip or any other learning content on my YouTube learning channel. Thank you. I appreciate your ongoing interest and active social media support. Thank you. You keep well. Bye-bye.